So welcome everyone to yoga. Welcome all of you. So what we're going to do today is a bit of a review of some of the essential things. And then we're going to take a break until, I think it's the second Tuesday of January, the 11th, something like that. But anyway, you've all received a message. So we're just going to start sitting. And I encourage you, please. So if you didn't see the message on the chat, you need to go get a chair wherever you may be online and come forward on the chair. Come quite forward on the chair. Yeah, so that your feet are resting on the ground. Yeah. If the chair is too high for you, get something and put it under your feet. Okay. And then put your hands on your thighs. So forward on the chair is for this reason. This is part of also sitting for meditation. If you want to lean on the backrest, then you go back on the chair. And in fact, the chair pushes against your hamstrings, and it is actually helping you and forcing you to lean back. So that's one thing. That's a wonderful thing. But when you come forward far enough so that your thighs are free from the chair, but your sit bones are clearly on the chair becomes a different tool for you. And that's what we want to do right now. In a moment, we'll look at higher and lower. But for the moment, if the chair is too high for you, just put something under your feet. Then your hands are on your thighs. Close your eyes if you feel safe with that, and just move your hands on your thighs. And this is all about the first principle of learning to move, feeling safe about movement, not feeling judged, not feeling like you're going to be the only person who's not doing perfect movement, whatever that may be, is what I've been calling nearness. Stepping away from the visual relationship we have with our own bodies and the bodies of everybody else. It's beautiful. If you get all dressed up to go to the opera and then you want the person you're going with to see that and to say, oh, you look so beautiful or so handsome, that's one thing. But otherwise, we're constantly involved in selfies of ourselves, and we get to yoga. And the yoga poses can encourage us into this checking the performance of the shaping of my body. And that just makes you grumpy and tired, and it does not lead to anything rich or creative or sustainable. It doesn't help world peace either. Right. Performance, that's what the ego is doing all the time. How am I doing? How am I doing? How am I doing? But participation is actually what the very deep relationship we have with our bodies is inviting us to. Participation in the world, whether you're eating an ice cream or making love or going for a jog or looking over the Grand Canyon, you are embodied in creation, and it's a participatory act. No one is looking at the performance. So here we are touching our legs, these punchy, jumpy, bossy, springy thighs that we all have in different ways. Go over your kneecap, onto the shin, come round under on the hamstrings. And as you touch, just notice what's happening. You can do this in a more subtle way at a meeting or at a difficult encounter with a friend where you're being told off or you have to say something important. Just coming into the embodied participatory reality. And then just stop and be still for a moment and just notice what's changing. We're going to do the same with the shoulders. We're going to take the right hand and put it on the left shoulders And we're just going to touch around the back. I'm helping with my left hand. Yeah, and don't bother your shoulders. That's it. Touch all the way around, caress, massage, come around to the front. And while you're touching, you can also move that shoulder. And just rest and just notice what's changing. Your shoulder may feel higher, lower, heavier, lighter, bigger, smaller. Then we take the left hand on the right shoulder. So your rhythm, your pace, your action, that verbal, visual, analytical, critical aspect of your thinking, you can just ask it to wait till later. And we can also touch and move that shoulder. And while you're exploring, having touched the legs, just notice if your feet are there on the ground, really on the ground, heels and toes. And then we stop and we come back. We just notice what's changing. Two key things usually begin to change in our sense of self. One is the sense of weightedness of being here, and the other one is the way the breath starts to release and relax. We sigh, we yawn. So just notice, don't do anything special, don't do yogic breathing, just allow. Allow the breath. Allow yourself to notice the sense of weight. Okay. So you're going to have to look at me for a moment. Just watch what I'm doing. I'm putting my hands on my hips. Watch me. And I'm just going to let my hips tilt forward. You see, and my stomach sticks out. And I'm going to let my hips tilt back, like I'm about to lean back on the chair, but you don't need to go that far. So I'm letting my pelvis be like a wheel that is rolling on the chair. So we're doing the rolling and we're sensing the weight. So we feel the sit bones, yes. And don't do your back. Your back, don't make your back arch. It will arch by itself. It will fold forward and fold back. Leaning back. Yeah, that's beautiful. Feet are on the ground. Yeah. 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 And notice that when I roll onto the back of my pelvis, my body tends to go this way. When I roll onto my front of my sit bones, my body tends to go that way. If your body's doing the opposite, that's fine. But this is the more general pattern. You know, this way and then that way. Beautiful. Keep doing the same thing, but just move your hands to the baby finger, let it sink right onto your groins. And your hand is against your belly. So notice that if you really let your baby finger sink into this place where the thigh meets the trunk, you have a very deep crease, right? You have a fold. So if you're a meditator, this is the fold you want to cultivate. That when we sit to meditate, this fold here is the primary fold. And then all of us may be a bit this way or a bit that way. Just feel into that. Great. So leave one hand on the groin and put the other hand on your lower back. Yeah. So we're just mapping and touching. It's like walking around the garden. Watch me. So if I start to lean onto the back of my pelvis, I will notice that my lower back, my lumbars start to bend. Yes, just like Josephine. Do you feel that? You make a bend. This is what we don't want to encourage a lot of when we sit, because then the fold here diminishes and it's as if I'm sitting into my lower back. Have a look. So I mean this. If I go to sit and I make a fold, do you see the fold is here? And this is fine. This is kind of long and fine and easy. But if I don't make a fold here, which most of us do, if instead I'm tight-assed and therefore not contributing to world peace, I squeeze my ass, you will see that the fold happens here. And most of us are like that. We have so much tension in the back of the pelvic floor and in the hamstrings that we inside are a little bit like that. Okay, even me who's more like that, or Sini, we're still. So then we go to sit and we're not in this fold. We've kind of compromised the lower back. So here we go again. Put one hand deep into the crease with a baby finger in the groins, the other hand on your back. And just roll on your sit bones, and you will notice there is a moment when you're on top and the crease is deep right there. And the back sort of opens up. And then there's a moment where you've gone onto the back of your sit bones. And then you're leaning into the lumbars. Yeah. So you're doing it. You can go play more, John. Yes. Yeah, now you're in the back. You can feel it, right? Everyone okay with that exploration? So that raises a really fundamental point about the chair, the cushion, or the bench. And if you get that point, your playing with the yoga will increase hugely because you'll understand one of the basic things you're trying to mobilize. So look at me. I'm sitting on the chair. I'm looking to make this fold. I'm not leaning back. I'm going to put my feet up and have a beer, right? I'm here. I'm on the front. I'm looking for this. And this is a good chair, but I can feel that it's a little bit low. So I don't know if you can see, but I have a tension in my lower back and a tension here because I'm trying to hold myself. If I relax, I'm going to go more here. Okay. But if I get some support, which we're all going to do, you're all going to have to get a cushion or a blanket or something from your living rooms or from here. If I make the seat a little bit higher, if I double it, already I feel much more stable. And if I make it a bit higher, much better. So when I work at the computer, that's what I do. I lift my chair up, which means the computer has to go up too. So then I'm much more up here. And you see, now if I let go, I'm not going anywhere. I would really have to go there. Go there. Okay, so go and get something and play with raising your chair up just for a minute. Yeah, you can see on the video the difference of being here or here. See here, the chair is too low for me. Of course, if the chair is too high for you, then your exploration is going to be under your feet. You need to be higher, John. Yeah, so Josephine, try this more flat then. Yeah. I'll take it. Yeah, go ahead. So feel for yourself. What does it do? What does it give you?
I need to lift up my feet slightly.
Oh, then lower.
Yeah.
Don't do half.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that looks good. Well, in fact, you know, how does that feel? Yeah, I mean, and Carrie's your height, but do you see the difference?
Yes.
So in a way, higher is better. You know, high, can you feel? Because it actually pushes your system in the right direction. Then people don't like it because they're too visible in the space, or they feel arrogant, or right. We have a story around the queenly, beautiful attitude or kingly that it gives you, right? How is that? It lifts. Yeah, how is that, John? I'm going to sit on this rounded thing. Yeah, so close your eyes, put your hands on your thighs, and just take that in. Just take the feeling of the shift that has happened. You are not binding yourself to the chair. You're inviting the chair to help you better. Yeah, yeah, Josephine, that looks good. Is it comfortable? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it holds you up. Very good. Okay, now I'd like you to take one of your hands, let's say your right hand, and put it under your bum, your own bum. And then poke around with your fingers under your bum until you feel the sit bone. You will feel the bony bottom of the pelvic bone on that side. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. Take your hand away. Yeah. And notice what happens. Just because you've touched and because of the awareness you put there. When we squeeze the back of the pelvic floor and the back of the legs, we're pulling the sit bones towards each other and preventing ease of sitting. So now I want you to go back, same hand, under, find, and this time we're going to tease the sit bone back and wide. It's tiny micromillimeters, but it'll feel a lot. Yeah. This is directly helping world peace. Directly. Something you can invest in. Yeah. And in fact, if you feel courageous, you can dig around that bony promontory. Yeah, the anus is further away. But by letting your fingers sink in, you start to have an impact on the habitual way of holding the structure. There's a broad structure called the coccygeal structure, which is very dense. And it kind of it's like our shoulders, you know, our shoulders get stuck and someone has to release them for us, or yoga practice. So digging around, just like you would in a garden, you know, we go and with a trowel and we're exploring, should I plant this thing here? We're finding out. That's what embodiment means. That's what participation means. Yeah. I lean off, I lean away, yeah, and then I dig around, and then I come back. Yeah. If you have lower back pain, this exploration is very important. If you then sit at it, great, and then pull away, take your hand out, close your eyes, and just notice. You don't need to language it or wonder what I'm expecting should happen for you. Just notice the difference. Notice the difference. Receive the difference. Then the left hand goes under the left buttock. Find, dig around. Try not to be tense. Try not to be tense in your fingers as if your fingers were like eyes that were straining. We don't. We're in the dark because it's beyond our skin, but our fingers are so sensitive, so able to feel into the depth of the body. Dig around, rock on, rock off. Yeah, wonderful. You can roll around. Yeah. And then we pull back and away, and we come back onto, close the eyes, and just take a moment just to appreciate. You don't need concepts or wondering if you did well. Just appreciate. And we're just going to rock a little bit back and forth without tension. And we're going to notice when I rock back a little, my body softens on the front and I bend. And when I rock forward a little, my body softens on the back, paradoxically, and I open this way. I could harden the muscles of the back, but it's not necessary. So I rock on my pelvis and I let my spine oscillate between a front bend and a back bend. Just enjoy the rocking, feel your feet. Let's make the rocking happen by pushing from the feet. I push the ground a little and I rock back. I kind of lean into my feet and I rock forward. I push and I rock back. So the legs are part of the movement. Yeah. 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 If you're used to saying to yourself, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, I'm sure this is wrong, just welcome that. Just say, yeah, okay, I'm listening. But it's just, we're just used to being that way with our bodies. Whereas others are just, they're just off running and inventing and exploring. Both are fine. And let's come back on top. Okay, the sense of weight, the breath is moving through the body, the pelvic floor is awake, we're on the sit bones, we have feet. And now we're just going to let the head roll forward a little. Keep your hands on your thighs. And we're going to roll forward all the way so that the elbows are resting on the knees. The back of the spine is very long, the feet are huge. The breath, the sense of weight, the quality of nearness. I'm just walking in the garden of my body. No one is filming, no one is taking selfies, no one is comparing. I'm just walking in the garden and I'm wondering, you know, is this bit of the garden always in shade or sometimes in sun, or is it very dry? Really rest your elbows onto your knees. And if you feel comfortable, release through the neck. So if this is fine for you, so Kerry, you may not rush into this. If this feels easy, you can slide your hands down your calves to your ankles. If you have eye issues, like pressure in your eye issues, cataract issues, then don't spend too much time head down. But otherwise, go all the way through and rest your hands on your ankles or at the floor. Then put your hands on your knees and roll yourself back, pressing with the hands on the knees until the head comes to the top. Yeah. How are we doing with that? Okay. Yeah. Again, we're going to let the head fall. We're going to feel the weight. We're going to release in the shoulders. And we're just going to notice that we're folding forward. But just notice inside your body how everything starts to lean against everything else in there. All the organs are kind of leaning on each other until we get to elbows on the knees, head hanging. Heavy head,
breath, and then we're going to slide down the shins to the ankle and feet. Very heavy arms, heavy head. Hands go back to the knees and use your hands to roll back up. Yeah.
These are very deep movements. If we let gravity work through us and we build step by step. So now I'm going to let my arms go up. Okay. You don't need to lift your shoulders to your ears. That would be another movement. Just the arms are just up. Shoulders are heavy. Feet are awake. Pelvis is where we've been exploring. So you're on top of your sit bones. And now I'm just going to, it's as if I was being lifted by my arms. Don't lift your shoulders. They may come up a bit, but it's as if your arms are lengthening inside. And then your breastbone is being lifted up and your throat is opening to the sky, and you open your eyes and you see the beloved. You didn't realize your beloved was on a trapeze up there swinging. You had no idea that they were an amazing trapeze artist. That's it. And it doesn't matter where your arms are. What's important is that you're opening up through the heart and lungs and armpit. That's great. Don't look at the shape, but the more you make roots into your bum and feet, the more you feel that something is opening inside. Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with it. Can I put my hand here? It's not the inner shape. It's the, did you feel that? Mm-hmm. It's that inner opening. It's that inner opening. Yeah. Yeah, and for you, if it's okay on your shoulders, if you bring your arms in, you'll be less shoulders and you'll be more, yeah, did you feel, you'll be more in there. Drop the arms, take a moment, and then we'll do it again. Yeah, was that okay? Great. Yeah. Yeah, so look, this is the shape, right? That's a shape. But that doesn't mean that anything moved in there. That's just a shape. It's like this one. It's just a shape, but it doesn't mean that the inner body actually lengthened or opened. But this is a different thing. This rooting and opening on the wave of the breath is an inner thing. And it's inner because it's all the little intelligent muscles of the body that move first. And the big beefsteaks of your back follow. Normally, it's the big beefsteaks that are moving as we clunk around and exhaust ourselves. But it's that little bit. So if you look at belly dancing, that's what you're seeing. Everyone should do belly dancing. Everyone. It's another way of helping with world peace. Okay, so we're going to make roots. Arms are going to fly up. Don't look at the shape. Play, that's great, that's beautiful. Play with, open up right through the fingers, like you did when you were a baby. And then just let the inner body lengthen. Did you feel? That's it. That's it. Inner, that was beautiful. And don't stay too long. The inner body, you can, like John, bring your arms in. Yeah, and then we open, you felt that. Yeah. Yeah, and then let the arms come down. Yeah, so we're going to do it again, but we're going to put them together. Is everyone okay with that? Yeah. So here we are. Here we are. Again, the folding, it's the same. I'm not doing a shape. I'm just letting my heavy head sink onto my chest. And then my lungs and heart sink, and then onto my belly, and I just fold over. Elbows to the knees, and then I fold all the way down, hands to the ankles, heavy head. Yeah. If you start drooling, it probably means you're doing it right, if there is right. And then the hands go back to the knees, and then with the pressure of the hands, we just quietly roll back. Things come on top without tension. Lots of time and space to feel what's happening. Arms go up. And the fingers open so the hands radiate into the world. The inner arms radiate out of the heart and the lungs. And then something is lifting you up, high up in the spine. You're being lifted, yeah. If your arms are too wide, you'll be more in your shoulders. So bring them in. And it's like you're being lifted as you breathe. And we're just going to go, ah. Yeah, lifted and sounding. And then the hands come back down onto the head. And it's snowing on your head. And you slide your hands down your belly. And hands on the knees, rolling back up. Arms. So the world is moving your arms. I don't know if that is a metaphor you can play with. It's not you shaping. You are in a river, and the river, you know, like how we lie on the beach and the wave comes up and then it recedes and it seems to pull on you, or if you've ever lain in the bath where till the last bit of water comes out and you feel that pull. So it's like the waves of the sky are pulling on your arms and yeah. Open high up behind the heart and then coming back. That was beautiful. Everyone I looked to see. And the breath, and just notice. Yeah, just notice how your spine feels, how your breath feels, how you're sitting. Yeah, so you can see that little phrase that you see on teachings on meditation, sit with your back straight. You can see that that's a lifetime of exploration. It's not a one-time shape. What does that mean? You know, back straight, forward, back. How can I, you know, and that's how yoga is born. You can imagine some hermit in the Himalayas sitting there having trouble with a hip or a back or a shoulder, and saying, well, what do I need to be more and more comfortable and less distracted? Yeah. So it's not a competition. Okay, so let's take the chair away. And so we're going to kneel. We've done this often in class. So if your knees bother you, are you going to be okay from down to kneeling? So we're just going to put the kneecaps on the floor, on the mat, or on something soft. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Good, comfortable. And then put your hands on the floor. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so here we are like this. So this is exactly the same as sitting in a chair, except you fell over from your drunken ecstasy. And the crease, right? The crease is still the same. The sit bones would be on the chair, but you have now an ecstatic drinking problem and you've fallen forward. But basically, here we are. And look, watch me. I can roll onto the back or onto the front, let's say, of my pelvis, right? Like we did on the chair. And if you roll your pelvis that way and that way, it moves your spine. But now I'd like you to imagine, watch my hand, as you roll that way, this way, imagine you have a squirrel's tail. And as you roll the other way, imagine you have a wolf's tail. So squirrel's tail is when it goes up and your back arches a lot. Yes, and wolf's tail is when it's heavy and goes down. So don't do your back, just do your tail. Yes, Carrie, that's it. That's it. A squirrel in the making. Yeah. More squirrel. Yes, squirrel, wolf. And let the movement travel all the way up the spine. So here we go. Squirrel's tail going up. The belly relaxes, the spine arches naturally. And now we develop antlers that go up. So huge antlers. This is a reindeer, probably Rudolph's sister, with a squirrel's tail. It's a squirrel reindeer. Sini can tell us if it's possible, coming from Finland. So up, huge antlers going up. And the reason to add this imagery is that it lengthens the spine. So your cranial bones grow up. Your tailbone, your sacrum and coccyx become a squirrel's tail, and you release the spine down between antlers and tail. Now I'm going to bow my antlers to the ground, and I'm going to develop a wolf's tail, heavy the tail. And I'm going to let the spine bend the way it wants to bend. And then, yeah, you know, this is often called cat pose in yoga, but I don't think it is. I think it's a squirrel, wolf, reindeer pose. Tail goes up. World peace is increasing. Yeah. Pelvic floor and anus relaxing. Tail goes down. World peace is increasing also. Stay relaxed. And yet, Carrie, you can stay on your elbows. That's perfectly fine. If it's hurting your wrists, yeah, just rest your elbows. Wonderful. Wonderful. Do not effort. That's beautiful, Stevie. Just do your tail. Look, that's it. Tail goes up. Tail goes up. This goes down. No, you can stay. This is beautiful. Just stay. Yeah. And this, the more you move your tail, the more your spine will move. Now, wolf's tail. Yes. 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 Now, squirrel's tail. You don't need to drop this. It makes you think that you're doing it. I'm going to pull on your hair. Head antlers go up. Drop here. Yes. And drop here. Just play. Yes, you got it. Squirrel's tail. That's it. Now the other way. Wolf's tail. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. All good. How are you, Josephine? That looks great. Comfortable?
Mhm.
Wonderful. Okay, so we'll do just once with sound. So one of the reasons for sounding is it will tell you if you're holding across the big horizontal areas of pelvic floor or breathing diaphragm or throat. Because if you're constipating, you can't sound. So here we are, squirrel's tail, oh, antlers going up, and it's a lion, reindeer, squirrel. And then the wolf's tail, the antlers go down, and it's a bear, wolf antler. Yeah, beautiful. And then tail goes up, antlers go up, and it's a leonine. You can see that opera began in the Himalayas. And then tail goes down. And if the neighbors come and knock on your door, it means you're doing great. Great. Wonderful. And come back. And come back. Yeah, great. Great. Well, the way your spines were moving, you know, moment by moment is increasing exponentially. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful just to watch. So now we're going to add, watch me. We've done this many, many times. Don't do it yet. I mean, some of you have been following a lot, so you're used to it. But I'm just going to put my elbows to the floor. Now, watch my back and watch my thighs.
I'm going to put my elbows down, and then I'm going to lean into my bum a bit. You see, so my thighs tilt back a little, and then I'm going to release my forehead to the floor. And you see, my spine is hanging through, okay? Hanging through. Carrie, if your shoulder hurts, you can bring your arm in like this, right? So that's what we're doing. Huge squirrel tail up in the air, and then spine just hanging through, like seeing is doing. This is a very profound passive movement. Yeah. Dog pose is taught forever and ever and ever, as is child pose, but the cosmic squirrel pose is rarely taught. How are your eyes? Are they okay with your head down? Yeah. Okay. So bring your arms forward a bit. Let's do the good one first. Go forward. More. More. Yeah. Right. Now, how much can you do with that one without being in pain? Are you at your limit? Okay, good. So I'm going to get you something for your head. Here. Rest your forehead on that. There we go. And then just lean into this. Lean. Yeah, is that comfortable? Is it painful? It is? Oh, well then bring your arm more under you. Yes. So do it on this side. Don't worry about that. Is that better? Yeah. So you want to be able to really lean. That's it, Karen. Yes. How was that, Josephine? Great. So you feel where my hand is. See, you released already. Just rest into your, did you feel that? Beautiful. Rest into your elbows. Yeah. You should have no pain in your shoulders. That's it. That's great. No pain in the shoulders. Yeah, that's beautiful. And as you breathe, just a few more breaths, let your tail go up. Don't do anything special. Just open your imaginary process. The tail goes up. And you let your spine rest on your elbow. Just do what you can without having pain there. Okay, that's the main thing. And resting onto this elbow. Yes, you feel how your spine is moving. It's beautiful. Just resting. Yes. So it's a clunk. A clunk. Clunky, clunky, clunky. Good. As long as you're not in pain, it's fine. That's it. And now you're going to slowly walk your way back towards child pose. Yeah, so your bum will go back towards your heels and just keep going back as long as you're comfortable and your back doesn't hurt. So we're going to do this differently this time. Here. Yeah, and just sit back on your heels if you can. Is that comfortable? Good. That's it. Comfortable like that? Is it okay there? Here?
Yeah, it's all right there.
Good. Good. It's okay in the knees and legs? I have a feeling that it would be good to have this. Yeah, wait for me, Karen. So a little bit here, and a little bit under your ankles. That's it. How is that?
I'm getting a cramp.
Well, when the cramp calms down, yeah. You can come completely out if it's too much.
No, just let it pass.
Okay, good. Yeah, so settling back, how is this, Josephine? You comfortable? And you can have your forehead on the floor, or try resting your forehead on top of one hand on top of the other. That looks good. That's it. And just release back. Release back. And with every breath, allow the spine to fold. Allow the spine to fold. This is what we did when we're sitting in the chair, folded forward, 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 forward. Just allow that to happen. Allow the pelvis to, is that okay? Allow the pelvis to drop. Feel the weight of the tail. Yeah, no, you were great. You don't need to add that because your body's going to go there. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Pelvis, legs folding deeply. But no, you're good. You're good. My hands are just inviting, but you don't need to add anything. Yeah, is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Fold and the release. Right. Okay, so Kerry, I wouldn't do the next thing, so you can stay with that or you can have a look. But what we're going to do, and we can do that later when I know you're back better. But from here, from being where we are, we're just going to walk forward with the arms. We're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to come up onto the hands and up onto the bended toes. So don't rush into putting your heels on the floor. Just be here like this. And we're going to let the pelvis go up. The toes are hugely bended. Bend, especially the big toe. The hands are hugely rooting and the tail is hugely going up. Yeah, up, up, up. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, so John, that's great. And then your legs can get longer and longer as you go back with your, that's it. Longer and longer. So the leg, yeah, and then come down and have a rest. Yeah. Josephine, that looks great. Yeah. Yeah. Great, great, great. Watch me. So we're going to go, here we are. We're going to bend the toes. The tail is going up. Yeah. If you just do straight legs, watch my lower back. You see, the bend goes into the back, okay, which is what we said about sitting. But if you leave the knees bent, the fold stays where we were talking about there. So in all these positions, so here we are like this, and then the tail goes up, and it's all quite marvelous and wonderful. And then you just take one leg off, and you just lift it. Just. And then when your leg is way up there, you can turn your body a little bit across, okay? Yeah, bend the toes. Beautiful. Leg goes up. That's it, John. Lengthen your leg a little bit more. Yes. Yes, that's it. Great. So it takes a moment to feel, okay, where am I? You can release in here a bit. Yeah. The leg goes up. You're doing the turn too quickly, John. It doesn't, no, you're great. It doesn't matter if you don't turn. Yeah, I'll help you in a minute. That's it. That's it, Sini. This is it. Yeah, so watch. The leg goes up. This way. You don't need to turn anything yet. Just let it come straight up. Yes, this way. Do you see? Yeah. So we're going to do all the legs that you have. Yeah. Go up first. Go up, long. That's it, Sini. It's your leg that is taking you. You can see here, it's not the shape. Josephine, that's great. Everyone, that was great. It's not the shape. Yeah, you see your whole spine is moving because your leg is like a balloon, you feel? And the balloon is going up. And you're just becoming a yogic dirigible. And off you go. There's nothing you can do about it. Off you go, off you go. Look, even Scottish people can do it beautifully. Yeah. What? I know. It's interesting how these legs are so bossy, strong. Wonderful. Okay. So then let's just come to lying on our backs. I'll come and help you in a second. With arms really wide and legs bent. I'll move over. I'll do that. Brilliant. Just go back, your head will come onto this blanket. Yeah, a little more. More, or is that comfortable? That looks good. Yeah, so bend your legs. That's it. Feet on the floor, legs bent, arms very wide. And just feel the reality of the feet on the ground and the hugeness of the back on the ground. Wonderful. Wobble your head a little bit from side to side, just easy. Just feel that. Let the head wobble, let the breath move. Don't keep the mouth too tightly closed. The width from arm to arm, the weight of the arm, and this rich awareness that your arm does not start at your shoulders, like your neck does not start at your shoulders. It's better to imagine the arms and the neck having roots deep into the heart space, where the cardiac muscle is, with its lining with the mediastinum, down into the fourth thoracic rib or deeper. So you have deep arms and neck, not things that pop out, deep and heavy. So that imagery can help you, it's not about positioning your shoulder blades where you think they should be. It's really about letting the weight of the arm come from deep within the thoracic space, which is the embryological reality. You don't have arms that pop out of your armpits and fingers that pop out of your hand. It's all fingers. It starts with tiny little fingers emerging out of roughly the area where the lower cervicals and the upper thoracics meet. So roughly at the top of the lungs, top of the heart area. You have these long, intelligent, radiating aspects of you, which we then call arms and fingers. Beautiful. The head is rocking a little. You're heavy. Huge feet. Now, without putting any tension in the shoulders, just say to yourself, I'm going to bring the palms of my hands to my lower belly. In fact, I'm going to bring the baby fingers to my groins, to the same place where we folded when we were sitting. Same place. So beautiful. Low down. Yeah, low, 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 low. And the baby finger is up against the crease that your thigh makes with your torso. And the palm of the hand is warm and wide and heavy across the belly groin area. So here we are again. We have the fold where the legs meet the trunk, just like we did in sitting. We have the little fingers in the groiny foldy place, and we're just
as we close the session and we're breathing, we come back to this place that we've spent time moving from. That's what we did today. We picked up those early vocabularies that we played with since the beginning of COVID when we went online with these classes. Nearness stops us from looking at ourselves and shaping, which is not a bad thing. It's just that we're so visual and so verbal and so shapy that we miss the other richness of embodiment, which is that there is no body. We're just in the river of experience. And there's got to be a lovely flow between particle and wave, let's say, between moments of shaping and moments of flowing. The breath and the weight become natural things we get used to sensing without putting them in any ideal place. There's no ideal breathing. You do not need to breathe in your belly in order to do yoga. The whole torso breathes when we're comfortable. As we fall asleep and digest and sit to meditate, the breathing naturally becomes more belly oriented as we go into that inner, slow, safe place. As we run for the bus and we're trying to catch the bus, the breathing naturally goes more into the chest, naturally, as we get more excited. Soften the belly, long through the spine. Let your head gently wobble from side to side. From nearness to weight, to noticing the movement of the breath in the garden of your body, we started to play with how the spine naturally bends forwards and backwards. And that's where we've been today. And then we made our way into various other things, including the standing poses, and we saw how the upper body can lift off the lower body and how we start to rotate. And we'll pick those themes up after the Christmas holidays. So thank you, everyone. Wishing you good holidays and lovely yoga. Bye.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you. Yeah.